A new Doctor Strange 2 trailer has been released, and yes, I do have my good and bad thoughts about this trailer. Much like with Age of Ultron, this trailer could be completely lying to us with regards to its tone, as in, it looks very serious when really it could end up being very comedic. Wanda saying that when Strange used magic for himself, he's a hero, but when she uses it, she's a villain.
That doesn't seem fair.
Even though what she did in her show WandaVision was far more evil than what Strange did, which was just irresponsible. But I'm not going to delve into those. What I like about this trailer is that Doctor Strange 2 looks like an actual movie. Most of the MCU films look cheap in how they are shot, and the same goes for their cinematography. And that's primarily because Marvel keep hiring these directors that make one super low budget indie film and then say, here's a $200 million budget, now go make a big budget blockbuster. And that's why their movies mostly make very bad use of their big budgets and why the films look so fake and cheap. And it's also the reason why Marvel even say that they will have someone else direct the action sequences. But for the first time, the MCU have hired a director that is experienced with making big budget movies. They have hired Sam Raimi, and he knows better how to make big budget blockbusters. And the movie looks so much nicer than all of the previous MCU films. The cinematography, the way these shots are framed, the slightly more vivid colors, and you can even see that Sam Raimi is trying to push the PG-13 rating. And because he is a big name director, he has capital to push these Disney Marvel movies out of their comfort zones. And looking at the imagery, he seems to be pushing them far more than any other MCU directors have done before. At least going by this trailer. And if the rumors are true, Sam Raimi wants to push the PG-13 rating to its limits, which I am so happy to hear because Marvel have barely made use of the base PG-13 rating. And from what I can gather looking at this trailer, Scarlet Witch seems to be fighting Captain Marvel here, or a different superhero. And you can tell Scarlet Witch wins because later you see her covered in some blood. This right here is something that only Sam Raimi would do. The MCU would never allow this if it was any other director. But Sam Raimi does have some extra street cred to do something like this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this movie because it actually has some good production quality, and Sam Raimi seems to be having more of a say with the creative choices in this film. And I hope that Marvel are letting him have full creative control with this, because they can very easily tell him to make changes, and as we've seen before, he is not impervious from being forced to do things due to studio meddling. So we'll see what the movie is like when it comes out, as the trailer could be a big fat lie like the trailer for Age of Ultron. But this director isn't Joss Whedon, it's Sam Raimi, and I feel like Marvel really have something here if they let him do what he wants. If they don't, then they will only have themselves to blame. But you can see his influence in this trailer, especially the horror imagery, which I really hope they lean into, and not just make a horror scene here or there. With a title like this, I expect a whole lot of madness, and not just the odd scene of madness. And no, Wanda is of course not going to stay evil. It's still the MCU, so they're not going to go that far. And yes, that does look to be a variant of Charles Xavier. Thank God. I hope they don't bring these original ones back. Leave their stories the way they ended. You can resurrect your own characters, Marvel, but you don't need to resurrect others.
You underestimate my cowardice.
Be sure to check out my full thoughts and review of this trailer, as well as my reaction on Patreon. All you have to do is donate just $1 and you will gain access to all of my previous and upcoming Patreon content. Links to all of those and more are in the description below. And I will see all of you very soon. Take care.